Have you ever noticed that some things in your life take an awful lot of effort and other things just show up? It doesn't always make sense because sometimes you're doing everything right and nothing is moving, and other times you let go and everything falls into place. So, what's actually going on with that? That is what we are going to be talking about today. Welcome to Infinite You, beautiful souls. I'm Dr. Sheri, spiritual psychologist, multidimensional mindset mentor, and human potential catalyst. And here on Infinite You, I help you come home to yourself so you can consciously create your life from the inside out. And if this message resonates with you, I would love for you to hit subscribe, join my community, and share this video with someone who may need it. So let's dive right in. So here's what most people don't realize. Creation, conscious creation, isn't just one thing. It's not just thinking, it's not just action, and it is not just letting go. It is a sequence. And when you don't understand the sequence, it can feel really confusing. So everything actually begins in imagination. It is deciding what you want. It is allowing yourself to see it before it exists. It is about believing that what you want, you can actually receive. If it's true for you, if you feel like you deserve it, if you feel like you're capable of creating it, right? So there's all of these nuanced layers of being human and what's going on in our subconscious mind, in our programming, and what is true for us and the identity that we create around it. So when you know what you want, when you have that vision, when it's very, very clear to you, and you know that it can be had for you, for lack of a better way of saying it, then it kind of moves into that belief. It moves into knowing. It moves from your subconscious mind into your conscious mind and into focus. There are a lot of manifesting people that talk about your conscious mind and your reticular activating system, and what you focus on comes into your physical reality. And that very much is true, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But like the sequence, going back to the sequence, you have an idea. This is what you want to create. It moves from energy into your belief system. It moves into your conscious mind, into focus and what you give your attention to. And then you can take aligned action and what you actually do. And then you move into that flow space, and then things start to come together, and then you receive. So it's kind of divine masculine energy with action, divine feminine energy with receiving, the psychology of it, the energy of it, the quantum field of it. And that basically is the process. It's nuanced, it's science, it's energy, it is psychology, it is what you believe you can actually have and create. And I think that that's where things get really confusing when it comes to conscious creation and manifesting. Because sometimes we, all humans, we skip the steps, or we try to force a step before you are actually aligned with it. And that's when things begin to feel hard, because you're kind of sort of out of sequence for sure. And then we have the non-attachment side, the allowing side, right? So this is where things sort of begin to get a little bit nuanced, for lack of a better way to say it. And then, of course, there's the bigger picture of our fate, the bigger picture of what we may want doesn't come because something better may be coming for us, right? So it's a matter of flow, of faith, of focus, and allowing, right? So the other side of this is when you let go, when you're not attached, when you're not trying so hard, and something just shows up for you, and it really can feel like magic. I remember I had many years ago, I remember getting my oil changed, at a car dealership, and I looked over and I saw this fab, expensive for the time, like fully loaded SUV. And I was like, ooh, I'd like to drive that. And then I kind of just sort of dismissed it and let it go. And then about 2 years later, I was driving that brand new fully loaded vehicle like off the lot. So you see what I'm saying? Like I had one little blip in my mind of making the observation of wanting it. There was no attachment. And magically, about 2 years later, that same vehicle just sort of materialized for me. So I think that that's part of the magic, right? And we humans get really caught up in that. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But remember, that's not random. It's because at some level, going back to the car thing, and I know that you know that feeling when you're already aligned, when you're in that frequency, when you're in that vibration to manifest and see the idea of it come into your physical reality, it can happen in an instant. That's why conscious creation and manifesting is not just one thing. It is law of attraction, law of assumption, right? All of the universal laws that make it possible, right? And I think honestly, and I know this is a little bit tangential, I think it's a little bit of a blessing, because if we wanted to manifest everything that we want to have all at once, it would be wildly overwhelming. And I think that it would be, you know, kind of keep us out of flow, I think, as human beings. So, you know, just remember, everything starts with energy. Everything starts with imagination. A little bit of hard work, a little bit of serendipity, right? It all comes together. So the goal isn't to force everything. And it's not just to sit back and wait. It is to understand where you are in the process. Like, be conscious of your ability to manifest whatever you desire into physical reality and respond from that place. So sometimes it means getting clear. Sometimes it means deciding. Sometimes it means taking action. It's remembering that the bigger picture, your supernatural self, your super conscious mind, you've got all of these amazing ideas and what resonates with you and what you want to experience, what your soul came to experience in this magical, amazing physical reality. Earth is our playground. And so all of these possibilities are just swarming, floating, living in this energetic space, right? So Esther Hicks would call it the vortex, right? So everything that exists is hanging out in energetic form in the vortex. In terms of the quantum field, it's really, and I talked about the reticular activating system in the conscious mind. It's really about, in the quantum field, collapsing things from a wave into a particle, and then it brings it into physical form. That's kind of a little bit of the science behind what we're doing. So the vision, the imagination is living in your superconscious mind. And then it's filtering through your subconscious mind and what you believe is possible for you. And there is an awful lot of nuance there with your programming, with your conditioning, with your belief system, with what is true for you. And I talk about this in terms of alignment and shifting your programs, rewriting your programs, your story, right? That definitely is for another video, but everything you want in superconscious mind is filtering through your subconscious mind. That's why getting clear on your beliefs, what you identify with, what is true for you is definitely a part of this process. And that's where really most people get stuck, because they think, I can't do this, I don't deserve this, who do I think I am? And then when you get into alignment with what you want, what you think you're capable of, what you think you deserve, that filters into your three-dimensional, your conscious mind, your physical self. That's where you focus. That's where your reticular activating system lives. And then that's where you get clear. That's where you get focused. And that's where you can begin to manifest whatever it is you want to see come into your physical reality. So there's a lot of nuance in there. There's a lot of history in there. And then, of course, the bigger spiritual aspect is this idea of non-attachment, right? So if you let it go, or if you assume that it's true for you, that this is how it all works, you're going to see a lot more of what you want come to you. You're going to notice the serendipity. You're going to see all of the pieces of the puzzle align. And before you know it, you can think something and it absolutely can manifest in physical reality. So sometimes it means getting clear, deciding, being focused, taking action. And sometimes it means letting go and allowing. And so if this resonates with you and you want to go deeper in how to actually create your life in a conscious way, in an aligned way, in a way that feels good, that is in flow, that brings you more joy, a higher frequency, more freedom, more possibility, more excitement of Earth being this beautiful, amazing playground, you can join me in my membership in Infinite You, where we take a much deeper dive into all of this, the practical, the psychology behind it, the energy behind it, the esoteric aspect, the science part of it, all of it. So you don't just understand it in this space, you actually live it. And I will also put links for my free newsletter down below. And I would love to have you join my community. And for sure, hit subscribe. And I will also put a link for my human design session, because that's where we talk more about energy and inner authority and the strategy that you can use that is unique to your human design. All the links will be below. And remember, you are not doing it wrong. You're just not seeing the full picture yet of your own creative magnificence. And once you do, creation stops feeling confusing and out of your reach. And it just starts feeling natural and serendipitous and amazing. And I will see you in the next video. Namaste.